Good day. Today is 31st May 31st May 2022, and we know it's a critical juncture of our history. And I'm Professor M.T.R. Jayasinghe. This is a second history lesson. So, to educate, the Britishers adopted the divide and rule method, and some of our former vice chancellors also adopted where the divide and rule. But sometimes they were successful, sometimes all that became utter failures. So to me, I will never adopt divide and rule. I will rule, and when I want to rule, I rule. I have no business with divide and rule. I will rule with the equality, and if there is any doubt, you can ask the people, because I was the head Department of Civil Engineering from 15th June 2010 until end of December 2012, but actually last month or so I did not do any work. The acting head was Professor Anurana. The reason was I had a massive heart attack on 16th July 2012, and by December I thought I must immediately take a huge rest because my health was deteriorating. So I gave up everything and I concentrated on my health, and today you have a 58 plus man, one of the fifth senior most professor of Department of University of Moratuwa, he's a man as, although 58 plus, had suffered a heart attack nearly 10 years ago, is very young in heart and keen to take any challenge. And the challenges could be, if somebody says, I was given this contract at this price, and they say they can allow only 20% escalation, how can I finish the project? I say, don't worry, I'll finish it. I have my own methods, I'll finish it, but I'll tell you what I'm going to do to finish the project. If my methods are acceptable, I'll do it, but I want 5% of the cost, 5% of the say you have a 3,000 million project, and say 1,200 had been completed, the rest part of the structure, finishers, everything shall be completed. Then I say, you have 1,800 million, and I will give you complete designs, everything, and because you are in trouble, I'll charge you only 5%, otherwise my charge is 10%. So my charge for the remaining 1,800 million project is 180 million, to do it in my way so that we finish for the same amount. Whereas because we are in trouble, I have reduced it to 5%, which means my charge will be 90 million, and that will be the charge anyway you have to pay for the consultants whom you have hired. But you had first fire all the consultants, you have to bring in my consultant team, that is the best consultant team in Sri Lanka, and I will complete the project for the same amount. It is applicable for any highway project as well as a building project. Whatever project is immaterial, I'll ensure it will be completed to look the same that architect wanted. We will not fire the architect, but all the other consultants will be fired. So the architect will tell us what exactly that he or she wants the building or the facility to look like, and we'll make sure it looks exactly the same, and we'll finish the project for the same amount. But there cannot be any cash flow problem. So if you say it's a 3,000 million project, already 1,200 worth of work has been completed, then you have 1,800 million remaining, and as it is, it will cost another to complete this 1,800 million work, you need about 5,000 million rupees. But we say, no, don't worry. We'll do it for 1,800 million. And our charge is 5%. And I have a super team. And I know how to convert it, the average designs to super designs. And then I will actually optimize it and give you a solution within 1 month, and everything will be optimized. For example, there was a project that I completed at Nigamba Hospital, and there were 4 operation theatres to be completed with air conditioning and ceiling. And one of the leading consultancy bureau gave estimate of 300 million, and I said I'll get it done for 75 million. So I'm getting it done for 25% of the cost. That was quoted by a leading consultancy bureau with so many experts in each area. So that's my way of doing things. And because I am an expert in almost any area that you can ever think of, including artificial intelligence. So now back to history. My lectures are like that always. I go on tangent and come back to the original topic. And I'm not looking at anything when I'm talking. I'm just keep on talking. So basically, so Britishers acquired all our lands, and then they gave it to British people British people who came bringing all kinds of flowers, plants, everything they brought from England. And they thought anything that will grow in our tropical lands, or they brought here. And anything that grows very well in up England, they thought, okay, up country, that can be grown, because our up country is autumn in England, spring, summer, autumn, winter. So autumn, every day in our up country is an autumn day in England. So anything you grow in autumn or spring in England, so you do little bit of things in spring. And then before spring, summer comes, you get spring, and then you do few things. Anything you grow in spring in England, you can grow here. So they brought, and then they started ripping our natural forests in Novelli and all the upcountry. And they started planting coffee. When the coffee failed, they started doing tea. So these had very serious, irreversible repercussions, because when in ancient times, all our kingdoms were main kingdoms. When we had huge kingdoms, they were all in Anuradhapura, Polonnaru. And when you say Anuradhapura era, Polonnaru was a well-developed city even those days. And then Polonnaru era, and then people came to various other places, but those were small kingdoms. So there was the forest lands kept on, nominated. So the forests in hill country is very, 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 very important, because they maintain a runoff coefficient of as low as 0.05 to 0.1, which indicates only 10% of the rainfall that will be runoff, and rest will be all absorbed, but will be available for later use. So our Mahavali River had the same water level, but these people changed it, and the runoff coefficient gradually started rising, 0.2, 0.3, and now it's about 0.4. That's why we get flash floods. The moment we have a heavy rain, you have floods everywhere in Sri Lanka, but it was not the case. So basically, the white people did huge damage, and to make sure that the administration can be done, they assured 2 things. One is the people from north were given huge superb education, and they were allowed to go to top universities like Cambridge, Oxford, and all that. Then the Anglicans, the Sinhalese people who became Anglicans, they were also given superb education at St. Thomas's College, and they were allowed to go to top colleges in top universities in England. And then when Catholics saw this, they thought, okay, we are also going to do the same thing. They created so many good Catholic schools. They were all English medium schools, because the Catholic priests know English is the key to success. So in this country, because this is the English era all over the world, it's ruled by English. So let's learn English and be very fluent in English. So they also had good jobs. And the norm is, if you are an Anglican, you can be, the sky is the limit. If you are a single Buddhist, maximum job is clerk in a British firm. Otherwise, you become a teacher in a school in the village, or you do your own business. And so our people, this country needed so many services. So most of these services were done by Sinhalese, and then they became super rich. And you'd have heard that the Ruan Valley Sahib was funded by one man who took all his money in his he had huge amount of money taken in, I can't remember how he took it, but he funded it. So basically, I mean, these people who were engaged in the making furniture, like Don Carolis, and then those who were supplying things like Kajan or Pollatu for various purposes, they were all rich, and they became, so we had rich people in villages. If you read the books by Martin Vikramasinghe, you can learn a lot about our village life and how we had rich people in our villages, because they are the people who were a little keen to do businesses. And Sinhalese also did businesses, but if you want to work in British firm, then you must be an Anglican. And then Anglicans always got the director post and all that, and Catholics got good executive posts and all that. And the Buddhists will always work as the clerk. And you'll ask, how do you know all these things? And this is all told me by my father, who worked in a British firm and walk and break. And he joined that firm when he was only 21 years of age in 1953. His salary was 30 rupees. And then he was basically a sales. He worked in the sales department, because that company brought cars, fridges. I think that company was the agent for GEC and so many other American cars. They were all brought by that company. So it's a huge company and with huge operation. And the date it was acquired by Brown's Group. And if you look at Brown's Group, it's a massive group today. And some of this wealth for Brown's Group came by acquiring huge companies like Walk and Break, that used to make tea machinery and all kinds of things. They had workshops, wood workshop, the other workshops, and they were making things in Sri Lanka. And so they had electricians. So when I was a kid, all our housework was done by well-trained electricians, plumber. We did not have much water problem, so we did not have plumbers, but all the electricians, and then mechanics, painters, everybody. So when my father wanted to give a new paint after accident to our car, he never put it to a garage. He got a painter from his what we call panel beater or painter from his company, and he came and he did not do a good job. Then another young guy came and he did a superb job, and I also used to work with him. So I got my exposure to body repairs when I was a kid. I was only 11 years of age. And then I learned all the engine repairs, because later my father found the engine also needs a repair because of the accident. Little crack has occurred in the engine block. So they had to repair it about 3 times. After that, he gave it up, and one of his friends who knew about the car very well brought it. and found the crack by using a magnifying glass, and then he repaired it, and then he used it to travel from Colombo to Kalutara. So basically, when I got a first class, when I told him I'm going for scholarships, he said, "Puta, never go and say that you are a Buddhist, because if you say you are a Buddhist, you might not get the scholarship." So that's the kind of discrimination against Buddhists. And thanks to our good friend from North, Prabhakaran, who destroyed all the wealth and gains of Tamil-speaking Sri Lankans, and today we have a society that we can say we have equal opportunities for all nations, and we all call us Sri Lankans, but there was a huge damage done by Britishers, and it was corrected by our good friend, the LTT leader, Prabhakaran, by destroying the Tamil nation. Thank you.